So when last we left off with our intrepid heroes, who remembers what happened?
Let me scroll through my notes.
I mean, I know it was a year ago, but come on.
It's been so long. Um, well, we met the very lovely and totally not uppity butler at the mayor's house.
Well, before that, you turned in your report.
Sorry, dude, this is
Yes.
slightly late. I had to find where that was again.
So you turned in your report to your commanding officers and got paid. And then you were given another
Yes.
assignment.
And Leaf changed color, apparently.
Yeah.
Overnight.
You do that.
That was weird.
What do you mean? You stay the same color every year? That seems boring.
Be like the leaf.
Well, last time I saw someone say they were a leaf on the wind, it didn't end well.
Nor did it end well for anybody watching or remembering this moment.
Mm-hmm.
But then you guys did some town guard time, keeping the peace, and some of you had some happenings during that time frame.
Yeah, some of us got enrolled into wink wink, totally not smuggling contraband.
They're the totally legit business guild.
Uh-huh. That's
idea
their
what you
name.
mean.
That's the name of their guild.
TLBG.
Yes. And they just wanted some assistance. Since they knew that Brenna was such a good guide, they were really hoping that Brenna could help guide a package within the limits of the city without letting some horrible guardsman or person in charge try and take it away from its freedom of getting delivered.
Oh, so Brenna's just a courier.
No, Brenna's a guide. An important guide for the package. That's
Because if you say couriers, the game was right from the start.
that was the very important thing that they stated. You're such an important guide.
Well, let me go put on my checkered suit and put a present.
But somebody else also was given a bit of a stop there. Bo.
Volna says that everything's gonna be burning. Maybe we got to do something about that.
Yeah. The druidic owner of the Moonbear Boutique was freaked out by certain dreams that they've been having and asked for you guys to gather resources so that they can try and complete a magical spell to get a better idea of what threat is coming. Because they only know that it is. And it's not good.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
Totally fine.
Probably.
I am totally sure that it's totally nothing to worry about. It's only people wanting to bring gifts.
We haven't had any kind of, signs of impending apocalypse or anything like that.
Absolute impending apocalypse signs that are maybe happening on both sides of the continent in very small ways.
It's fine.
I've maybe enjoyed those small details because
There are people on the other side of the continent. That's just rumors.
Yeah.
Crazy people are spreading.
It's
You
the
know anyone that's been over there?
terrible beliefs of the poor. But now you guys have essentially been given time to show up for the evening in time to be your secret guard duty for the ball that is being thrown for the Arvoldian Knights.
Indeed. And I had to show up early.
Yeah, you were trying to get outfitted to not stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah. I mean, why would I stick out like a sore thumb with like half of my face burned by magic and a hand missing?
It's
That's
totally
not
fine.
conspicuous.
Your hand's missing? What?
Yeah, the right one. It's a prosthetic.
I have a third hand. Do you want to borrow it? Proceeds to cast Mage Hand.
I was about to ask if that works like a third leg, but
Waves with the Mage Hand.
I think I'll be okay with this one. Clink, 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 clink.
Mage Hand, tap on the shoulder.
There's a part of me that kind of imagines that it's just oversized slightly like a bad comic book character, though. So you have that one fist that's just like the size of, like as big around as your bicep.
Yes, it's me. I'm Hellboy.
Right,
I thought you meant like Vox Machina with the large, really large purple hand.
I mean, there's so many examples. So now, I've put you at the back door for the mayor estate.
Perfect.
Showing up early, Halbrod, it's pretty obvious that things are already in swing. The place is lit up like the sun, with every possible light glowing through every single window. You can already see people busy inside, moving and getting everything ready. And when you show up, they're fairly quick to kind of get you hurried inside, as it's fairly obvious that people got shit to do besides worry about you.
All right. I'll try to find the lovely butler, whose name I forgot.
Well, I won't worry about it since you don't remember it. I don't remember it off the top of my head. He's just the butler for all extensive purposes. But we can call him...
Is it Jeeves?
No, I was going to say we can call him Albert, but...
We want to ask Jeeves a question.
But who doesn't want their butler out?
Sorry, I'm old.
No Batman for you. All right.
Yeah, you know, Albert, Alfred, Al Pacino.
I know, but we can't use the same name. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we could always do the thing where everything is one letter off, if you want to be that weird.
Yeah, we'll just have the butler be Alfredo.
Yes.
It's really not Alfred.
What about Alphonse?
He has like just a
What about-
terrible curly mustache, but past that it's the
I
exact
like
same.
the name. I like the name Jubert.
Alfredo Ponyworth.
Farthings. I like it. But after, it doesn't take you much time, as he seems to be kind of moving through and directing people throughout most of the estate. Pretty obviously. He seems to kind of have his hands full. When he sees you, he seems to kind of immediately gesture you to hurry up and come closer. Come. I was expecting you 20 minutes ago. You're already late. Throwing everything off for us. Now come.
You told me an hour early. I'm an hour
And
early.
you showed up an hour early. Come, look at this. Look at all we are doing.
Sounds
Before
German.
you can say
You're
anything,
on time. You're late.
they rush you off into a room to that you can see is kind of filled with various servants' clothes of various sizes. That is obviously some sort of servant storage closet for the various areas of operations that the servants work in within the estate here. And you can see as they kind of begin sizing you up and going through things and trying to find something that works for you. Now, how big is Halbarad, like, brawn-wise? Like, how stocky a boy?
I mean, I got 15 strength, so, you know, he's...
Yeah, but some
he's
people
pretty-
prefer to
pretty
just be
steep,
wide
though.
and short. Some people like to be tall, hulking. You know, you don't gotta be all beef to be strong.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's more, like, toned, probably. He's, like, 6 foot, probably pretty well toned, but he would ask for something that's, like, a little oversized so that he can hide his chainmail underneath.
Okay. All right. So...
Because you do have to
I
wear
mean, if you
something
think
under
about
the
it,
chainmail as
a
well,
lot of
so...
the strong men don't look like muscular, but they're a lot stronger than the bodybuilders.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I say when it comes to this stuff, it really is kind of how you want to look. Like,
Yeah.
it
So
don't
one
matter.
guy I keep seeing on TikTok in the gyms, like dressed like a janitor, and he just like
Oh, yeah.
one-handed lifts
I love
like
that
500
guy.
pounds.
Yeah, yeah, that guy's a fucking trip. I love that guy. He trolls a lot of meatheads. All right, this is gonna be really, really interesting. So
As a
that's...
DM myself, I'm always worried when I hear a DM say this is going to be interesting.
Well, yeah, because I was rolling for
I know what
the
it means.
I was rolling for the color of your outfit.
Oh.
Essentially to see what you were gonna get paired up with here. And essentially you're violet blue.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've got this violet overcoat with violet pants and then blue sash and cinctures.
Oh, a little bit of green, and I can ask people if they want to know how I got these scars.
Unfortunately, you realize that that's not exactly what one might consider stealthy.
Yeah.
Welcome to these green pastures. Here's your purple outfit. Have a nice day. But yeah, no, you are suitably fit in with the servants.
Great. I was told as well to check in with the house maidens for like some makeup for my face.
Well, of course, we can't have you looking like that now, can we? Guests have appetites. It kind of pulls you off, and you head down some other kind of corridors. Roll me perception.
That's some real shade, man.
I mean, they're giving you that southern level shade here.
Like, are you gonna
I
bring
don't
that
like-
face to the party? People are trying to eat here.
I don't have the best insight, but even I'm like,
Roll me
Throwing nightshade at you.
Roll me perception going back into the hallways here.
okay.
So,
Too bad.
as you're kind of getting pulled through some of the corridors running through the back, through kind of a moment, you catch what you can kind of see at first appears to be a cutaway in kind of the bookshelf of a room that appears to just kind of be a side study, more storage area, could potentially be a side bedroom. And as you're just kind of walking by this open doorway and being pulled along in a really hurried fashion, you can see where in just this one room where you've passed countless ones that have seemed to almost match the exact same kind of architecture in this spanning mansion, this one wall is folded back into itself. And you can see where this almost small guest storage room then seems to open up into what appears at first to be almost a dark hole. But for a moment you realize that it's kind of going into a cavernous interior. But you just as you're kind of crossing that threshold, your brain clicks to what that darkness was, essentially, as you're walking by that, but it's already too late. You're already being pulled through the next hallway.
Okay.
Last time you asked about secret passages, and they told you that you shouldn't worry about it.
I will definitely take a mental note of where that room is.
But you're just like, hey, fuck, wait!
Hey, wait.
And finally, you kind of get brought in with a sudden fluster, the door flung open. He comes into this room that seems to be filled with mostly dressed servant women in everything except for kind of their top layers of clothing. Of course, in that day, meaning that they were only 4 layers of clothing on their bodies in most ways. And they seem to kind of look
scandalous,
bored at this servant that they, of course, seem to be accustomed to him barging in like this. As they're immediately just kind of like, "Wah!" It's in a big uproar. You kind of hear all of them like, "What do you want?" And he kind of just comes and he's like, "This is the boy I told you about. You will take care of him and make sure that he is presentable to look better than this." And they just kind of
wave awkwardly, like, "Hello."
And you see this kind of like, "Uppa!" And they're like throwing tissues and stuff at him, and he's like, kind of like shooing them out of the way as he's pulling the door shut and moving behind. And then as the door shuts, you're kind of just left with these 3 servant women of varying age that are kind of left to dote over you a little bit while you're getting ready.
I just kind of wave. Hi.
This kind of, I'd say, for human terms, you'd be willing to peg her at about middle 50s, age, elvish descent looking woman, kind of comes over, chewing gum out of the side of her mouth. Her ears are definitely smaller than what you see, like, Bow and Leaf and a lot of the full-blood elves have. So you can definitely tell that she's not a full-blown elf in any way, but maybe just has a slightly extended life because of the watered-down blood. But she's just kind of chewing gum as she's standing in front of you, looking almost through you as she's looking at your hair and everything and trying to go through it. And then finally, after a minute, she just kind of snaps, "Sit, darling."
Okay.
Once you sit, it takes her only a moment to get a little bit of a cloth draped around the front of you, and then immediately begin assaulting your pores with various concoctions and pads carrying various creams and colorings, slowly working their way across their face. And as she seems to be doing her subconscious craft, she kind of pops her gun for a minute and goes, "So where'd you get these scars from?"
Bit of a mishap a few years back. Yeah, cost me my my good looks and this, and I kind of like wiggle my metallic fingers up.
At least you had good looks to start, though, right?
I suppose so.
She kind of just continues working her way around.
That's okay. I understand. My cousin Josephine, she lost both hands in a kitchen fire. That was some crazy shit.
Sounds like it, yeah.
She slowly works her way across everything. Going across.
So were you born in this area, or did you just come here?
Oh, I moved over here a little bit ago. Not too long. Right. One a bit further down the road.
Oh yeah, I feel ya. Wandering stone can't gather no moss.
Yep.
All right. As she finishes, she slowly slides to the side as you see her kind of lick a thumb and move a strand of your hair to the side. Then she kind of puts a fist up to her mouth, looking at you judgmentally with this stern-eyed look for a moment. And then she nods and whips the cloth off the front of you. And then slowly she brings out a mirror, just a little hand mirror that seems to be a little tarnished, rusted piece, but still has rather clear, mirrored glass there to show you. You look flawless.
Wow. That's very impressive. Congratulations on your great work.
She got a 23 on that disguise check.
Damn.
I was like, all right, I'm going to give her advantage, and rollers didn't. Okay, I got an 18 on the dice. Okay. I was going to laugh my ass off if she rolled like shit and you legit walked out of here like a Harlequin. I was like, yep, we gave you the purple suit, then we sent you in the back and gave you the clown makeup. Here you go.
Are we gonna have
I'm
to
an
roll
agent
to see
of
if we even
chaos.
recognize him?
I mean, it's gonna be like a weird makeover show, but in servant edition.
We are all servant edition.
Yeah, like all of a sudden the wind chimes come through. This is what Halbrod looked like before, and now. This is the Clark Kent to Superman transformation for everyone.
So literally all I did is move my face a little bit.
Took off glasses. In this case, gave cover up. That's it. They're just like, oh, that's what it looked like before the scars. Okay. Got
Move
it.
the hair, put an eye patch on. Completely different person.
I don't even know you. And then, as you look, nod, and she's like, yeah. And then just kind of walks off. And you see where she's immediately amongst a group of women gossiping about various things that are going on.
Okay. Well, thank you, and I'll just wave and leave and close the door behind me. Kind of walk around the halls for a little bit, waiting for the rest of the party and kind of getting a feel for the place. I will try. I'm not gonna be like necessarily like obviously stealthy about it, but I will try to get towards that secret passage thing from earlier if I can. Like try and take a peek at it.
I am sticking you in a random back room of this map.
Sure.
That was confused enough of a statement that it made me actually make sure that you were on the right map. I was like, fuck, I didn't leave you on the group map, did I? Nope, you're on the right map. Great. You are just in a small room now. Yes?
Yep.
Wonderful. Everyone else arrives at the back door for this estate. You should all be on a map layer with yourself standing at the back door of this estate, yes?
Mm-hmm.
And you can move yourself, correct?
Yes.
Wunderbar.
I cannot.
You can't. How about now?
Oh, I'm dumb. I was using the hand to move the map around.
Yeah. Done that a
My
billion
bad.
times.
That's on me. My bad.
The map's a little populated since the last time that you've been here. Not completely with servants and everything, but I have given you actual people and I have given you generic NPCs. I feel it should be pretty obvious which are which. So the rest of you, you arrive at the back, obviously what seems to be servants' entrance for these quarters. And you can see the gate and the guards standing near it already almost looking at you impatiently. As they seem to quickly usher you inside of the doors, you realize that in an odd fashion, some guests have already started showing up to this damn thing. And guests are not accustomed to that level of excitement for any sort of function. They're used to socialites that want to make lavish entrances, wanting to show up late, and all the sort of extra little steps that makes things just a little more annoying, but at least they're used to it. These people showing up early means they're stepping into their own preparation time, and it just makes them all even more stressed, because now they get to deal with them longer. And as you're walking, they're like, you'd better ought to get moving. The big one's already eating.
Shall we?
Let's shall.
So, Bo, what are you going to wear tonight? I'm thinking spider for me.
Oh, this is a fancy place. There's a young woman of the house. I think fancy dog.
Fancy dog? Got it. Yeah, I got my little spider familiar here on my shoulder, and then I will turn to a spider, so I will have a best friend. We can divide and conquer.
I just want to make sure that the other two people there at least recognize the conversation that's happening around them and the completely unnatural thing that is essentially occurring before your eyes. Because Brinna and Ukrad, essentially, while you're standing there watching, Leaf and Bo kind of have a conversation about their outfits for the night, and then you watch as Leaf turns into how big of a spot, like what stat block are you using here? Because that determines the size of
Tiny spider, not the giant wolf spider.
I was gonna say, because turns into a, you're both roughly the same size.
Yeah, and my
party's
my
about
little
to get real
familiar is a tiny spider too.
And you're like, I'm stealthing. So turns.
Hey Frank, sorry.
What did you say, Frank?
I said this party's about to get real lit.
So I mean, I imagine at the very least, the closest that you could really get through that would. Oh, I guess I'll do the stream thing. Would essentially be like tarantula. Like, just because of the stat blocking and everything, and effectively the sizing of it. I think the smallest you can really get would be like horsefly size.
Just something tiny and unobservable, or less likely to be seen.
Less likely is definitely the thing. I mean, spiders are not unheard of as far as here in more natural areas where there are lots of trees abound, but depending on what you do, it might look a little suspicious.
Yeah, I was thinking something small, like Black Widow kind of spider.
Gotcha. So something completely innocuous looking, like a Black Widow. Got it.
I mean, from far away.
I don't think a Black Widow is the most, even from far away. Like, the red backing is pretty obvious on a Black Widow.
Okay, just maybe like a good old-fashioned, just tiny wolf spider.
Yeah, like, it's fine. Like, there are even grass spiders that are mostly kind of a yellowish.
So in tiny spider voice, Leaf is going to be like, Brenna, come here. Pick me and my friend up.
Man, I think... Yeah, because that is definitely proportionate. So, I guess, yeah, you eventually kind of see this spider walk over and begin gesturing at you emphatically, and you can hear this voice, this kind of semi-familiar sound of Leaf's voice, but slightly higher pitched and very much further away from you, screaming for your attention to pick it up.
Uppies, uppies.
It's
I will bend down and pick up the spider.
And my friend.
Gonna be really
Two
fucking
spiders.
awkward when someone steps on the spider and Leaf just appears under their foot.
Leaf is going to climb on the ceiling, so it's harder to step on.
be better if he did it and it was just like, ooh, step on me, daddy. They're just like, what the fuck?
Joke's on you, I'm into that shit.
So if you guys will come in to the gate and head a little south.
I'm gonna turn into a Pomeranian.
Let me see here. What kind of Pomeranian?
I'm sorry?
Fine, I pick.
The dog kind.
That is
I was
acceptable.
gonna say, how many kinds of Pomeranians are there?
Various
I'm
colors.
not-
There's different colors was really all I kind
True,
of meant.
true. Well, pick the cutest one. I'm gonna practice being cute today.
There's also crossbreeds. It could be like a husky Pomeranian. Like, make it a very loud Pomeranian.
All right. I think you have control of that Pomeranian.
Hold on.
You are a Pomeranian. All right.
Oh, wait, were we gonna do anything with stones?
Well, we gotta meet up, and then we have to, divide the stones in groups.
I thought we would have done that beforehand, but never mind.
Give them to the
Who
tiny
did-
spider, and it will be the control person relaying messages.
Who are we getting the stones from again?
Stones?
Yeah, there was
Walkie-talkie
supposed to be
thing.
like.
Speaking stones.
Sending stones.
Oh.
Stones.
They were going to give you. I forgot. I agreed to give you guys 3 pairs of sending stones that you were going to have to figure out exactly how you do that. After they outfit you, they'll just give them to you, Halbrod.
Okay. I'll just walk around the halls a little bit, try and find the group.
The way you guys were saying that, I'm like, I don't remember giving you no quest with no stones. What the fuck?
Albert is kind of looking around and like looking at the Great Hall and seeing one of the knights are just nope. That gif of the baby that's walking in and just like nope.
All right, I believe there is now a spider standing in front of the Pomeranian that you can control, Leaf.
No.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. I forgot this part. I did everything else but this part. Now do it.
Okay.
And you can see?
Yep.
Okay. That was the other thing. I'm like, you can see with it too. All right.
So will this one be my familiar, and I just move my normal self around as a spider?
I mean, that's you.
Okay.
I can always pop another one down for it if need be, but
I was gonna have it watch another room.
I was essentially giving you guys a actual controllable animal form to move around this map, so that both of us would remember that you look like an animal right now.
Pet me, Brenna.
No, pet me, Brenna.
Yeah, I'm gonna pet the Pomeranian.
You want to pet 4 legs of cuteness instead of 8? What is wrong with you? I am twice as cute.
I'm very fluffy.
I can make you a silk shirt.
Pomeranians get scritches. Spiders get insects.
Yeah, I'll protect
And
you from
I'll pull-
mosquitoes.
I'll pull a dead fly out of my pack and hand it to Leaf.
Your gift is accepted.
All right, so you guys were pretty much told previously.
Oh, come on, Daryl. Don't make the spider cute.
You
As an
guys,
arachnophobe, there is no such thing as a cute spider.
you guys were told effectively where to look out around here, where people were expected to be. There are people at this point already set up into these areas. So I'm gonna kind of leave it to you guys in this moment to kind of get yourselves set up and into position so that you can begin to observe and interact with some of the things that are going to happen tonight. So hopefully you do some things and, maybe stop some things.
How about this just walking on like, where the fuck are they?
So as you kind of exited out of the area, roll me survival.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Okay.
That's the tracking skill.
I'm great at this.
You definitely were not able on this try to locate that room.
Nope. Yeah, there's a lot of doors.
So many
all look
fucking
like
doors.
doors.
They're all doors. And they're all rooms that just have doors.
Yep.
Fucking.
That's another night. Nope.
It's
Excuse me, moving on.
yeah, that like I said, I told you guys the 3 areas to watch for these nights, and they are set up and positioned with people kind of ready and waiting for you guys to set up so that I can run you through what happens.
Leaf found his little hidey spot.
I just end up pacing around in this room in the middle here. Like, the fuck is taking them so long?
Are you there, Mike?
Well, I'm trying to get through doors, and I cannot get through any of these doors.
Just open the window and climb through like the spider did.
I'm like, a lot of them might be windows that you're looking at, so that might be a problem. Because there's a lot of windows. I'm like, but I know that Halbarad was opening doors and walking by. I watched him do it.
Hello, 3 Knights. Ignore the little hobbit that opened the window.
Right? Like, okay, good. I wanted to make sure you were there, Mike.
I had my headset on, but I was switching the laundry, so I couldn't
get it.
respond.
Totally fine. But wanted to make sure so that you could move yourself around so that everybody can try and get positioned. Because essentially you have at least 3 areas to look over here. And it's very, very possible that there are multiple things that will happen where, depending on who is in what location, they will potentially be forced to do something. And depending on what they do, they might potentially be rewarded or...
Trapped myself in a room.
check yourself in a room.
I feel like I've trapped. I like went into a room, now I can't escape, and my Pomeranian is sort of grayed out.
Oh, did somebody else shut the door and you can't open it?
I was
just scratching at the door. It's just...
Should have been me or not.
like, huh.
You don't have opposable thumbs in this form! Damn it!
Quick, try to distract the knights with your cuteness.
What is this? The buffet area or whatever? Or?
Yes! That there is the buffet area. And as basically multiple of you have walked through that buffet area, you see where there is this mountain of a man kind of just hunched over a plate of food, just kind of with his giant fingers picking up little pieces, kind of 2 and 3 fingers at a time, and putting one in the mouth and eating it and savoring it for a moment, and moving on to the next one, and kind of moving through everything, but devouring these large portions of food in these small bites. But anybody who walks through that room, I will let you roll a perception check about a detail on.
I don't know why mine rolled twice. Maybe for real leaf and spider leaf?
I don't know why I rolled twice either. So, I guess then, Brenna, it's pretty obvious. Everybody else a little less so. He has a huge scabbard that is empty across his back as he's eating here. And you can see where this, what almost seems like a dagger of a short sword, kind of hangs from his side. And you are reminded in this moment that you were told that people were going to be asked to check anything larger and only have small sidearms.
Okay, so the large scabbard looks like it might hold like a greatsword or something.
Yes. The flamberge of great swords, if you will. Like it's a big one.
It's not a Zweihänder, it's a Dryhander.
You don't want to know where the other hand comes from to hold it. It's...
Well, we know it's the mage hand.
Well, they all are. They are all Eldritch Knights, so.
I mean, man, think of what kind of sword Leaf could handle as a spider with 8 legs.
Toothpicks.
Very large toothpicks, comparable to size.
You gonna ask something there, Brenna?
No. Am I lighting up because I'm not hitting the button?
For a second there, you did. Like a moment ago. Then everybody talked a whole bunch, so it just made me want to check. So you've seen this room. You guys can kind of decide who you think will stay in here with the large man eating at the buffet.
We'll leave Leaf in there. He can sit there and watch them.
I will try not to get distracted by tiny insects.
Is anyone staying with Leaf or Leaf by himself? And does that mean it is a spider with a rock? Just to check. Because that's what that would mean for your communication.
Is this a goddamn fantasy game?
The rocks make it smaller. User.
Well, I guess technically they are a magic item and magic items resize. But yeah. So in that kind of situation you could choose. Because essentially as it's handed off, it could shrink to an appropriate size as a magic item. That is supposed to be how they work.
Let's do it.
Well, he can take his equipment with him if he wishes to, or absorb it into him. If he takes his equipment, it all resizes.
Yes. Well, no, because that was always the original thing, because it states with armor that essentially it's on top of you but doesn't resize or do anything, and that's why you put it into you. But if you have magic armor, it automatically adjusts per the rules. So that's how you can, per rules, have like bear in armor.
Oh, look, Rod. There you are. Where's everyone else?
Good question. I've been looking everywhere.
Me too.
I've passed this dog in the hallway once or twice, though.
Yeah, and there's this huge spider in there watching this guy eat his dinner.
Good. That sounds lovely.
I guess I'll send my familiar then later into another room, so we have better coverage everywhere.
Well, here's the stones. I'll keep one with me. If you see the others, kind of distribute them around. Like, we don't have much, but we have a few at least.
Okay.
And let me know if you find the rest.
There are 2 leaves now floating around.
Yeah, I gave him his familiar. His animal companion, if you will. Since that's technically what it is for the druids. You are casting the... You know what? Yes. Yes. I would like, actually, because of this important distinction and because you did it versus Bo doing it, I want Bo to make me a completely non-anxiety, it doesn't involve damage or anything like that, wisdom saving throw for me. That's why I'm like, please don't get super anxious about this. It is my own DM shenanigans and plans.
Oh, you know.
When you were first talking outside and Leaf kind of walked up with this animal companion spider, there was a moment where it almost felt like you locked eyes with this spider for a moment, and you just heard, "Hey." But nobody else heard this.
Maybe like make some eyebrows at the spider, but not really say anything because it's clear no one else responded to that.
Nothing seems to happen. And this is your first occurrence of this. I like to do things like this. The things that happen to you sometimes are a surprise. You're becoming an adult. Your body's going through changes.
You're hearing voices.
Time in a druid's life where spiders start to talk to you. Kind of like Harry Potter, but with spiders instead of snakes.
Well.
Hey man, you got any, flies on you? I'm a little hungry.
Maybe you think it's flies right now. Well, I guess we will have to see if it is eventually more things, and what the connection is, and why that is, and what it means.
I'm sure it'll be fine.
I'm sure it'll be fine. It by itself is not a bad thing, just a much bigger storyline thing. I have reasons. Sorry for my interruption. Please continue your planning and figuring out where the fuck you're all going.
So.
Oh, Rena.
What are we doing now?
Well, so I've spotted 2 of the knights so far. I've seen one in the big banquet room. There was another one in that side room that we were told that he would probably be in. I don't really know about the rest though. Haven't really seen anything.
At that exact moment, you hear this coming from the top of the stairwell.
Well, that sounded wealthy.
Was that the third night you were looking for?
Okay, so where's everyone else?
Hey, Halbrad, and I do tippy taps.
Leaf is a spider, and there's a Pomeranian, and I don't know. I've lost the plot. I don't know what's going on anymore.
I just look at the Pomeranian and just like, okay, that I haven't seen that before. Hi. Um, okay. So that's 4 of us here. Leaf is a spider. Well, how are we splitting up? Because we need to keep an eye on those people.
Well, Leaf is in the banquet hall watching, and apparently his familiar, also a spider, is wandering around here somewhere. So if nothing else, he can talk to himself.
Okay. I'm sure talking to spiders that may or may not be part of the party will not be an awkward sight to the guests.
Tiny little spider climbs up on you and starts waving its front 2 legs.
I feel like Halbard would be like, okay. I would freak the fuck out and swat the fucking spider away because fuck spiders.
And this
Hi.
is... It definitely
Leaf.
just seems more par for the course for the explanation you're being given.
Yeah. That checks out, I suppose. Okay, this is not what I was expecting, but we'll make it work. Okay, so most people seem to be in the banquet hall. So we need at least one person in there with a stone. Any volunteers?
Leaf's in the little banquet room with the stone.
Oh,
I can probably stay in there with Leaf. That way, there's an extra set of eyes in there and somebody to watch Leaf as well.
Okay. So we got one pair over there. Wait, big or small banquet hall?
There's more than one banquet hall.
they're in the small one.
Okay, thank you. Yes, to the east is the large one where I saw one night. It sounds like there's one upstairs.
We'll make the rounds for snackies. Keep an eye.
Yeah. Okay. So, who is being Overwatch on this? Who has like the multiple stones to keep everyone in contact?
Well, maybe whoever's going to wander should have the multiple stones.
Makes sense.
Well, just from an outside perspective, if there was per se. One person that didn't want to be in any of these rooms. They might want to be that Overwatch person.
Yeah.
Let's nominate Ukrad.
That's fine with me.
We don't want Halbrod missing out on any of this fun.
Well, I actually did see a secret passage in one of the guest rooms somewhere. All the fucking doors look the same here. I can't recall where it was exactly. I know I've been disguised, but I'm still kind of worried because I'm kind of wanted by the knights. So I wouldn't mind making the round if that's fine with everyone.
Works for me.
And I can try and find this secret passage again.
Leaf's just like hearing this through the familiar, like, you got some explaining to do later, Halbrod. Why do they want you?
I mean, essentially, with how you're doing it, you would kind of be blind in that moment, just watching and controlling through the familiar. One spider seeing through the eyes of another
Okay.
spider.
So we have
Spider's watching you.
Brenna and Leaf as one team. Urquhart and Bo could be another team. I guess in the large banquet hall. And I'll be going around, try and find secret passage, and get an eye on the other knights. So I'll
And what are we
hand
looking
a
for
stone.
from these guys?
We're looking for them not breaking or killing anyone. We don't want them breaking anything. We don't want them killing, hurting, maiming people. We were told that was Raph, I think it was, who likes to duel and cut his opponents, which, I mean, I guess some nobles like to have scars because they got cool stories out of it, but I'm not sure these ones would. There's supposed to be one that likes to break things. Nose, I think it was. I think it was the big one. I'll try and get an eye on their leader again.
Alright, so Bo and Ukrad in the large banquet hall, Leaf and myself in the small banquet hall, and you wandering. So you take this stone and this stone and this stone, and I'll take this stone, and Bo and Ukrad can have that stone, and I think we're ready to go, right? Ready, break.
So I moved
sounds good to
Leaf's
me.
familiar into the small banquet room, so Leaf can be in this main area here. Since I have 100 feet for my familiar, that way I can kind of be more central and move him around. So if you wanted me to handle the stones, but I don't know how, probably there'll be a lot of people coming through this area, so it might not be the best place to...
We have 3 sets, right? Why don't you take another stone?
You have 3 sets, so it depends on how you are running the communication for who can speak to whom. But
do the sending stones and the new rules act the same as the 2014 rules?
these are not paired. Each one is their own channeled walkie-talkie.
But you could have one person with 3 of them
Yes.
be a central coordinator.
And that was perfectly fine of a plan.
So if
Oh, I
I mean,
just meant like, is it like once per day communication?
Oh, no. I'm not worried about that.
so if you want, Leaf can see through the eyes of the familiar and could just sit somewhere out of the way and coordinate with the 3 stones.
You're being given Rocky talkies,
Yeah.
so...
Having Spider Overwatch works with me.
Like, for how
Alright,
far
so-
away can someone hear my voice in tiny spider form? Like if someone walked by while I'm talking through the walkie-talkies, like how
It's-
far away would that to be?
To be entirely honest, I would imagine that's also something of kind of your own control too, because when you are kind of just talking in a normal tone in a spider voice, it's not going to carry very far because you're not that big. Even if you're able to speak words and vocalize them, it's still coming from a spider mouth.
Okay. So guys, I need you to drop one of each set into these plants right here so they're not conspicuous, and Leaf will have the center of the mansion be the command center.
Sounds good to me.
Alright, and then I'll take a stone, Ukrad take a stone, and Halbrod take a stone.
Sounds
Sounds
good to
good.
me.
And then
All right.
everybody put yourselves where you need to be.
I'm gonna head back towards the guest rooms to try and find that secret room if I can.
So who is going into the big banquet hall?
That was Ukrad and Bo.
You are now relocated. To better assist you in locating exactly where that larger banquet hall is. Now, if just to kind of double check and everything, so was it just the spider staying in this room?
Leaf is right here, and the familiar is with Brenna.
Okay, but so Leaf is the only one that is staying in the central room.
Yep.
Okay.
Just be hiding in the plants.
So I guess then there's the one detail I would want to check in all of that, because those plants and everything are kind of on what is almost the lower portion of this area here, because there is somebody that you want to watch in this room, and they're in this corner over here. And that's what I was trying to point out, is this is the third night.
Not as convenient as hiding.
I mean, he had his position already set up. I'm sorry it wasn't convenient for your stakeout, but...
Okay, we're just going to assume that Brenna opened this window here so I can listen through it. And Leaf will set up operations here. And let me make sure that's within 100 feet.
I mean, you could always be like in a top corner of a room and have like the stones webbed together with a command post.
A little better to hide him inside of like a bush.
Come on, Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now I've got everybody kind of going through everything. Since there is so much in the rightmost room That's where I'm gonna start. Walking into this room is an immediate, almost cacophony of sounds, sights, and smells, as this illuminated ballroom is set out with wonderfully place-sat tables with bejeweled and bedazzled outfit nobles all sitting with their perfectly manicured selves, set out having small talk while others just can't help but glance about the room. But walking into this room from the outside, where the hallway is mostly silent, you can kind of hear the noise and the bustle of, 40 different teacups and spoons clattering at the same time, and all of these different things happening at once, as all of these small little elements are happening at each table, as each kind of small group has formed almost their own conversation, whether it is talking amongst themselves about their own conversations or about other people in the room, notably looking and glancing out of their side eye, trying to make it less obvious that that's exactly who they're talking about, while at the same time, to the casual observer, being the most obvious thing you could see. But when you walk into this room, one thing is easily apparent. The long table at the head. And there you can see where the more elderly but most regal looking of the elves all sit. You see this almost sagging flesh of a truly ancient elven female, the wizened face of the mayor that you've seen a few times in passing or on pamphlets and propaganda, but never this close. You see the head of the Larangar family with his still very militaristic looking outfit. It is the most civilian looking outfit that still almost looks like dress blues you've ever seen. Still has pauldrons coming off of the shoulders of them to make it look like some supposed rank that he still has, even though everyone knows he's retired. And then a peculiar looking man on the end. With these three rather, respectively in their own ways, noble looking elves, the man on the end is almost distraught. His hair is disheveled. He looks like he hasn't slept in weeks. His clothes look like they've kind of just been thrown on to get here. And his eyes are dancing nervously around the room as you're sitting there, as you immediately walk in. But then, as his eyes kind of look over and catch a sight of you, Ukrad, he sits up a little more straight and kind of straightens his shirt a little bit, kind of pulls the buttons up, and smiles.
I'm just gonna give him one of those white people smiles back.
Hey, hey.
Smile and nod.
As you
can't forget the nod.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that nod. Wait, is it an up nod or a down nod?
A down nod.
It's an important question. I'm an up nod person, so that's why I ask people.
That's more of a sup.
I know. I'm the sup is inherent to me.
Up nod is sup, down nod is respect. Everybody knows this.
This is the way.
This is the white culture way. I love it. I assume that in this moment you kind of just keep scanning the respective room then as it goes, because he won't immediately approach in this moment.
You just got very digital.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep scanning.
I'm not doing anything. Did it clear up at all?
It's cleared now.
No, I don't know. I think it popped up something. It might have been downloading some kind of thing. I don't know. As long as it's better. So continue to scanning the room. You see this pristine looking elf straight from the cover of a fantasy novel from the 70s. Elf, young elven maiden in this crystal and white gown that seems to be almost like sheepishly looking at the floor. And she's sitting next to a rather striking looking gentleman wearing rather finely tooled armor that seems to be doing everything in his power to kind of chat her up. And after a moment, you catch that she is blushing at his words. Continuing, you see two elves that, well, one of them seems even ancient by the very first elf at the front table's standards. But after a moment, you begin to recognize the similarities between them. And you can see where they seem to not really be talking, just preparing their tea slowly and methodically. And then after a moment, you see where they're listening and nodding along with conversations of the tables next to them while it's going on. At the southern tables and wrapping around, you see various merchants that seem to be in not as nice of clothing as everyone else, but damn it, they've definitely tried their hardest. But this is like your working class suit level of people compared to, you know, the Versace people that are up at the front. And they are still decent looking people, but they just really don't have that level of money necessarily to have put into these things. Nor does it seem like they're necessarily caring to. They've shown up for the social thing and to try and be able to help with the contracts that come with it, but they're just here for the free drinks and food otherwise. The one person that does seem to stand out to you, though, is the gnomish man that is, despite wearing a suit, still has a lab coat on over top of his outfit. And you can see where he's kind of stirring his tea and watching everybody else and looking at how they're making their drinks and looking back and forth and then putting a little extra sugar in his tea, then doing it some more and then a little extra more sugar in his tea. A little more sugar in his tea. Then he watches, he pours a giant thing of cream right up until it's just about to overflow, and then stirs it ever so gently and begins sipping it. Continuing up from them, you see one individual that, well, at least one of you had a conversation with before. The fancily and wonderfully smiling Ilgot sits with his business partner, Good, as they seem to be enjoying their drinks that don't quite seem to be tea. Their glasses of wine seem to be, well, one of them is mostly full, while the other one is mostly empty. After a moment, it's pretty obvious which one's which, as Ilgot seems to be the one continuously talking, while Good is watching, listening intently. But then, to your right is the final table. The leader of the knights, Bassoon, sits with the leader of the Druids' Grove, Marmuin. And you can see where they do their best to maintain small talk through nervous laughter. Do you guys do anything in that room given the initial information? And kind of what you're seeing after you take it all in. Or did both of you disappear?
Bo's gonna peel off from Ukrad because the Pomeranian obviously has nothing to do with that. I'm a fancy dog. I'm just here for snackies, so I'm gonna make a slight circuit of the room.
Okay. Where are you starting?
I guess I'll just go left towards the girl and the dude making her blush. But I'm just gonna listen and see if I hear anything, because I don't know if I actually heard what he said. I'm a little dog. What's up? You look cute. I don't say anything.
As you walk up to this conversation, you can hear where this gentleman seems to be doing his best to kind of talk about the beauty of the evening and how it seems to be such a wonderful happenstance of life that they would meet this evening, having never met before in this town. And as you walk up, you kind of don't see any reaction at first, as when you initially walk up, the girl seems completely oblivious to your approach. I rolled a 7.
Work it harder.
I'm gonna
Nobody expects a Pomeranian at a party.
Just like jump up on the table and start eating all the food.
I mean, you can literally just walk up and like scratch a leg. Like, you don't have to be weird.
I was just gonna walk over around that guy towards her. I considered going under the table, but I felt like that would be too dog-like. I'm trying to be cute, not desperate. So,
Gotta have standards as a Pomeranian.
Yes, make them work for it.
All right, make me a performance check.
okay. Man, such charisma +0.
Such charisma, much wow.
Oh no.
So, you walk over and you do like the small dog trip over the edge of the tablecloth, trying to get around it all, and kind of fall over and kind of roll around yourself for a moment before plopping out there. And that's when you kind of hear her be like, "Oh, who let you in this place?"
I'm gonna wag my tail and sit up.
She kind of looks to the side and looks to the the guy who's sitting there who gestures with his hands up in the air and doing that wave off like, I've got nothing to do with this. And then she kind of bows down a little bit in her seat before scooting off of the edge, kind of kneeling down next to you, and begins to start petting the back of you.
All right. I think this is where I'm going to post up, watch the room.
Ukrad, are you doing anything in this time frame?
No.
This is Spider 1 to big banquet room. Do you see anything?
I see a lot of things. There's people.
You are as smart and clever as always.
That's what I'm here for.
Is there someone else there I could talk to, like the Pomeranian?
Yeah, they ran off. Let me go see if I can catch them.
As you turn around, there's immediately the face of the frazzled-looking elf looking at you.
Ha ha ha! Talking to somebody?
That's not for you.
Oh, no, 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 I understand. I talk to myself all the time.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, when you need an expert's opinion, there's only one person to ask.
Ha! Yes, yes, yes. And no one left. Yes, yes, yes. So, I've never seen you around here. You're strapping, strong-looking fellow. What brings you to these parts?
Just, hanging out, seeing the sights.
Yes, yes, sights. There are wonderful sights to see around this area. Such wonderful history and things. Ha 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 ha. So, I happen to be on the lookout for strong-looking individuals such as yourself. I have need of assistance because I have something that I need to be rid of, and I would like some assistance, if you would.
What is it you're looking for help with?
Getting rid of a curse.
A curse.
And you can see as the muscles around his mouth kind of twitch as the words come out of his mouth. Yes, a curse.
What is cursed? Are you cursed?
My house, my family, my blood, I don't know. But I can hear it getting closer. I don't know if it's in the walls. I don't know if it's in the basement. I don't know where it is, but I can't sleep. I can hear it. I can hear it moving. I can hear it coming for me. And I can't sleep. I can't sleep. And I would really like a strong person or persons to maybe be able to help me so that I can sleep.
Okay. So what's happening? I need some more details on this curse. Let me elaborate.
I thought it was a joke. I thought that my family was just telling a story when I was a child. It was a family story, something to be passed along, something to be endured. All families have something, right? But then Father died. And when I found the body, And then years passed, and everything was quiet. But I guess it was just quiet to me. And then Mother was just gone. She's gone. And then I was the man of the house. And that was about 80 years ago. It started off small. I just thought I was hearing whispering in the night. Something calling my name. Then it grew. It became louder. I could hear it moving. And slowly over time I could feel its eyes upon me no matter where I was. I knew that it was coming. And then it began to invade my dreams. Slowly the dreams began to show me that I have to stop it. I'm the last one. He just kind of looks at you with this twitchy and expected smile. Please, my house is not that far. You could come anytime next week. I don't care. Just please come. Please. I don't know. I don't know how much longer I will last.
Yeah, I will definitely keep that in mind, buddy.
Look. And he presses a brooch kind of against your chest in a sweaty palm. My name is Alphadon. I am the last of Kasune family. Money, wealth, it doesn't matter to me at this point. If you can help me with this, I will reward you.
I'm okay. Look, it's kind of hard to figure out what to say when the crazy person approaches you and asks you to help get rid of a curse.
And you see as he kind of like laughs nervously and rakes a hand through his disheveled bed head of hair, and he's like, no, I get it. I understand. Got a bit of a reputation for myself in this last few years.
I can promise you that I will do my best to see if we can't get some help with this curse.
Name is in the world info.
I haven't played D&D Phasmophobia before, but that should be fun.
Oh, honey. I may have created a thing that is like, well, this will have a time frame, and if you can accomplish it in the time frame, you'll be greatly rewarded, or you don't. Yup. Isn't that sandbox side quest interesting?
It is.
It's a sandbox side quest. Like, that's all you had to say. Of course it's interesting. Who needs main quest when you can do side quest?
I won't even lie, that is 100% one of those things that my co-writer wrote in
as part of the like storyline of the city, and I'm like, I like that one too much. I have to use that one. He just kind of like, after he rakes his hand through his hair and laughs it off, he just kind of, haha, gives you finger guns awkwardly, and then kind of backsteps his way to where he was sitting at the end of the table. Totally an upstanding guy.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna turn around to the Pomeranian and be like, so that guy just propositioned me to get rid of his curse?
Are you talking directly to me? While
Just, you walk over and there's this, again, like, statuesque fantasy novel elf.
Oh, yeah.
Next to, I mean, the guy almost looks like the
scratch that.
paladin.
I didn't really think about the fact how that's gonna look.
It's like fantasy elf, and the guy almost looks like the paladin from the D&D movie. Like having a conversation over this dog that she is giving scritches to. And you're just gonna like walk up and talk to the dog. Hey dog, so
Casually, hey, so the crazy guy asked me to hunt for a ghost in his basement.
Right.
just like using a paw against my throat, like cut it off.
I just don't want a cute dog.
I'm trying to imagine that like dog limp front claw, but doing the across the throat gesture. Make me a performance check. Pomeranian.
Oh man.
I know. I love that you have to act like a dog when you're a dog now. Okay, you don't look like you're choking. Congratulations. I have to think of these wonderful things of how bad can it look if you were trying to act up something for somebody who really cares about this cute animal to falsely think is happening to you. So yeah, you walk over and begin to say something to the dog, and you're like, that might look a little weirder than what I just endured.
Congratulations, you are now the weird person.
Yeah, you get through like, hey dog, and then like realize what came out of your mouth.
Anyway, cute dog, I gotta go.
The both of you roll me perception before I begin to exit your room. Oh. Look at that doggy perception go.
I don't know if I actually was I supposed to use the dog's perception? No, it's pretty.
It affects. Actually, no, it doesn't affect wisdom stats. That only affects physical stats.
Actually,
so,
I think me and the dog have the same wisdom.
Well, no. I like it because you're supposed to keep your mental stats when you are shaped with B shape, but not the physical ones. So, for perception, it stays the same. You just get the bonus of extra senses. Like if I had you doing something that could be smell-based, you'd get advantage. But in this situation, it's sight. And you rolled really well. So you can see where as Ukrad walks over to do this and kind of catches himself, that the mayor is giving him a look.
and you realize that there's some individual, looks almost like some kind of random merchant, not one of the ones that you necessarily recognize. It seems to just be talking to him, having a friendly conversation. And with that, I'm going to cut over to the big room, or to the second banquet, the leftmost room, where we see Brenna and, is it One Leaf? Or was there anyone else in that room with you?
It is.
It's Leaf's familiar.
Ah. So, after a little bit of time, it begins to be fairly obvious that even though the small portions that this mountain of a man are packing away definitely add up, they might not add up as much as what he's using to wash it all down. At first, this person appears to be fairly well behaved. They seem to be trying to eat these dainty little pieces and go through it in a nice way that is befitting of the culture, even if he finds it all silly. He seems to be doing his best to be a proper knight. But as the time wears on and the glasses of wine begin to add up, he begins to get a little less civilized. You watch as slowly over time what started out as grabbing delicate little finger foods and attempting to pinch them between his fingers becomes grabbing handfuls of food and putting them on his plate before moving back to his seat to begin eating it. You watch as he stands up, hovering over the buffet of the room, just grabbing things from the platters to lump them onto his chair to begin and continue eating. Slowly but surely, the other guests of the room seem to be a little uncomfortable, but some of them are at least still attempting to enjoy the food as they continue to give him side eyes as he continues to slowly devolve into a more barbarous attitude.
Can I pour a glass of water and take it over to him and say, Sir Knight, you seem to have forgotten your manners.
He grabs the glass, drains it in one go, slams it on the table. That's not bad.
Yes, it's quite good to have a glass of water in between your wine. It helps with the hangover.
Helps wash the food down. Not that this tiny little food is much to wash down, if you know what I mean. Mostly seeds and vegetables. A little bit of game.
I mean, I sort of live on seeds and vegetables, but I'm also, like, the size of your thigh.
Ha 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 ha! Yes, you have to eat more than that to get to this size. So, small one, do you do more than just bring people water?
I suppose I could run and get you something else if you wished.
Ha 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 ha! No, I've just noticed that not everyone actually carries these toothpicks on them. You watch as he kind of slaps the short sword that is dangling across his slab of a belt. These tiny little weapons aren't much for me to handle, but, smaller folk feel more comfortable with them.
I prefer a bow if I have to be offensive, but I'm not bad with the sword myself.
Offensive, defensive. None of it matters when they're dead.
Well, yes, but it all matters if you don't want to end up dead.
And he slowly turns with this kind of shadowed look over his brow and looks down at you. I haven't found one bigger yet.
Well, I mean, I suppose bigger is better in most cases, but
Roll me
how do you...
perception at this point in your conversation. You have like a 14 passive, right? So not much of a difference. But you can make out that even though he is doing his best to be fairly well dressed for this, that he does still have armor on underneath of his clothing. And you can make out the edging of some rune work along the armor itself. But you'd have to roll an intelligence check to be able to try and discern what kind it is.
Just a straight intelligence?
I'll give you Arcana.
Not much difference.
I didn't figure. But I'll give you Arcana if it has any difference.
Yeah,
That is
I
some
don't really know much
fancy
about
fucking rune work. You haven't seen a lot of that yet. You don't know how to recognize them so much yet. But yeah.
Somebody scribbled all over his armor.
It's like etched into it. But yeah, there is some fancy markings all over that there armor. Heck, I'll tell you what. I'll give you a piece. And you watch as he kind of reaches his hand back over towards his goblet of wine. And just for a moment, you watch as this... You don't know for sure if it's metal with a gold overlay or if it's gold for sure. But the goblet moves 6 inches across the tablecloth into his hand, where he picks it up and begins drinking it. And you don't see a hand grab it and move it towards him. You don't see another force on that glass. But you hear the ting as it hits his gauntlet.
Interesting.
Grapple person has grapple armor. Told you I have ways for you guys to be able to use this. I'll show you, even if it's in other people. And then you watch as he continues drinking and then goes back to eating with just a little more delicacy than he had before.
I will return to my post and continue to watch. And I'll whisper into my rock, man, that guy in here is such a douche.
Copy that. Guy is major douche.
Oh, I'm
Should we
sorry.
kill him?
As the spider's like, should we kill him?
I mean, it would be funny for him to get killed by something as small as a spider, given the cockiness. But let's wait.
I am ready to sink my fangs and just let me know.
Now, is Halbarad just kind of touring the whole time, trying to find this room, or is there anything else in all of that kind of Halbarad's looking for?
Yeah, I'm kind of like trying to go over the rooms and like when I get to a door, like lightly knocking, see if there's a response, and if there isn't, I try to like open the door and have a look inside.
Okay.
Like, is there any response to like the door here?
Roll me, or actually, I'll tell you what. You just tell me high or low.
Let's go high.
You knock on a door and open it, and inside of it,
Oh, if there's a response, I don't open the door.
there's no response at
knock to see.
first.
Okay.
But then when you open it, you see what appears to be two servants huddled in a corner of a room. One of them physically distraught, and the other one kind of consoling them, as they're obviously trying to be quiet in kind of the far corner of this room away from the door.
Is there anyone else in the room? Or is it just them?
Just the two of them.
I'll kind of like look back in the hallway and like look back at them like, did something happen?
It's not important. Just a normal servant's duty. Just try and be careful. Not all of the family members are as nice as they look.
Well, I mean, they all kind of look like pompous asses to me, but that's just me.
You see the one that seems to be kind of distraught, kind of chuckles to herself a little bit. I guess when you're first meeting them all, it definitely seems that way.
Is there anything I can do to help? And I'll kind of like shift my shirt a bit to show like the chainmail underneath. Kind of be like, hi, not an actual servant here. I can maybe help.
Some fathers are overbearing for their children. And they wish to overstep the bounds, to try and keep them on a leash. And we don't agree. We don't want. Everyone should be able to choose. Their life
who they love, who they're with. No father should get to choose.
Well, I agree with you on that. From what information I was given before, I'm kind of guessing what you're implying here. Right now, can't really do anything about that. But on the long run, might be able to help. We'll see.
No. And you watch as the girl who's been distraught kind of moves, and you can see where her right eye seems to be swelling. It's fairly obvious to assume from what. He'll find another servant. Just because I said no doesn't mean somebody else won't. I don't know what she's doing, but apparently he doesn't like her fraternizing with non-elves.
I see.
Just try to keep an eye on her.
Will do.
Well, you didn't find a secret passage.
Yep.
Not yet.
It's like, yeah, I don't really have any give them to help.
No, but you were given a warning.
Yep. I will keep an eye out for that. Thank you. And we'll try to do something about this whole situation.
I hope so.
I'll just like I'll give a nod and kind of like step back, and if the hallway is clear, I'll just like pull up the stone like either one that is right. You can let our friends in the banquet hall know. It seems like the mayor doesn't like his daughter mixing up with non-elf. So let's keep our eyes on that.
I will correct one small detail.
Yes.
It is not so ascend here. I have people for this. Hold on. This is the mayor. So, Overell Orion. Okay?
I see nothing.
Ugh. Oh, that's why. I said show to players and it said not showing to everyone. There. And then this is...
Okay.
That is not the mayor. That is the father. This is the mayor.
Okay.
Because it is the Orion family is the essentially mayordomos of this area, whereas the Lorangar family is the retired militaristic one.
Gotcha. So it's the Laranga.
Yes.
Okay.
Look at his...
So-
Sariandre Lorangar is the elven maiden.
Okay. So roll back the tape and write a military guy's daughter fraternizing with non-elves. And he is apparently very physical about that.
Ukrod, this is Spider One. Do you read me?
I read you loud and clear.
So the stuffy-looking militaristic elf beats his daughter for fraternizing with non-elves. Albert, I thought you should know.
I don't like that.
I don't like it either, but I am really tiny, and apparently, if I was a black widow spider, I would have stood out more. So I don't have much venom as a wolf spider. So I apologize. Or I would bite him.
I want to smash his face.
Albert, I want to clarify: should Ukrod smash his face or no?
I think that would be a situation we solve later rather than in front of every noble in the region.
Ukrod, that's a negative on smashing in the face right now. We need to be a little more discreet about it later.
How confident are we that he's doing this?
Halbrad, how confident are you about this?
Well, I just met one of the servants who is going to have a black eye in a few moments. So pretty confident.
Ukrod, we're pretty confident. There's a
If
servant that's also getting the shit beat out of them by this asshole, so think of some creative ways to kick the crap out of him for later.
I need to leave this room, or he's not going to.
You should probably stay in the room because he seems like the kind of person that would kick cute Pomeranians. So, gotta watch out for Bo.
Fine. By the way, I may have volunteered us to remove a curse by a crazy person.
Ah, that's par for the course for us.
Can my special dog ears hear that? Any of that?
Well, I mean, he's standing pretty close to you, so I'll tell you what.
I don't
Roll me a perception, and as long as it's not terrible, yes. Yeah, it's not terrible, so yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Fine.
So yeah, no, you were able to hear that just fine.
I'm gonna side eye the non-elf that's talking to the girl.
You realize you're in the middle of the conversation they're talking about? You're like, oh, you mean this situation? This one right here? Oh, fuck.
Damn. I have to.
You know how I told you that if something had to do with smell, that I was going to let you roll with advantage on perception?
Yeah.
I'm going to let you do that right now.
Roll one more time or roll with advantage?
No. This is a completely separate new roll. So roll with advantage for a completely separate perception check, having heard this rocky-talky conversation that's been going on. As you're having this dawning comprehension that you are in the middle of the situation in which they're referencing right now. With your little doggy nose, you get a very almost
pungent to you. Basic smell. Basic in that way that ammonia burns your nose. And after a quick moment, you're drawn to a cup that was recently sat on the table.
On the table, is it?
That you're at.
Oh, right. Right near.
Uh-huh.
That doesn't seem good. I'm gonna hop up on the table.
Now it's time for bad dog shenanigans. Okay. So you hop up on the dog, and immediately both of them, like, jump backwards because this is civilized society, and there's a dog on the table. And as this happens, you can see the old people next to you begin, like, ah! And then laughing and trying to make a big scene as it. You can kind of quickly tell that they just enjoy the drama. And they feed up this spectacle as quickly there's this whirlwind of motion as other kind of servants rush in to try and grab this dog that for some reason has hopped up onto the table now. This is your chance.
I mean, I would like to knock over this glass, but also get away from these persons who might grab me. Whichever thing is more appropriate to do, or easier to do. I'd first knock over this thing.
Okay. I want an athletics with the Pomeranian stats.
All right.
Give me that Pomeranian pounce!
Okay, I have a +1 this turn.
I mean, you've been doing pretty good, so.
+1.
Oh.
With all the grace of a Pomeranian.
Yeah, with all the grace of a Pomeranian, you try and pounce on this almost teacup that has been set on the table, and you do not manage to get it. You are like 3 inches to the side of the saucer here.
Okay, well.
What is a Pomeranian's AC?
12.
You feel hands grab you. I rolled a 13.
Let's see.
At this moment, you can make either a dex or a strength save to try and break the grasp. Using Pomeranian stats.
Okay, so what I'm loving about this is that some of the stats are the same, so I don't have to figure out trying to click on the.
I mean, I'm loving everything about this. So.
Me and the Pomeranian got the same decks.
Pee on them.
The bad dog routine.
Your next move.
This is the bad dog routine to save the day. I love it. So yeah, that is not a great save as you try and escape, and all you end up kind of doing is that lower butt circle wiggle as they like hold your upper body.
Flail ineffectually.
Why are they
super
not?
cute.
Yeah,
Why are they
right.
not coming to the cuteness?
So, yeah, I guess in this moment they're gonna carry this Pomeranian outside. Cause that would be what they would do.
Wait, is this a servant person?
Yeah. It's
And they've taken me to a more secluded area?
over here. You're in the garden area here.
Bro, stop this. I'm trying to do something. I flail.
Okay, they don't freak the fuck out at the talking Pomeranian.
Wow. Good job,
yeah,
then.
right. I rolled a natural 20 on their wisdom save to not be freaked the fuck out by the talking Pomeranian. Apparently, the servant has seen some shit. He's talking dog. What are you in for?
I'm undercover, obviously.
Yeah, obviously. Look, you can't be jumping on the table. These people freak out. They're nobility. They're gonna do shit with that. Don't jump on the table. Can you be a good dog? Can you be a good dog?
Yes, I could be a good dog.
Okay. They set you down on the ground.
Trying to figure out how to warn them about that cup. Yeah, there's something messed up with that cup. I'm not near any of the sending stones, so I'm just talking to this.
Ultimate plot twist. It's not a servant, it's a Pomeranian that's been polymorphed as a servant. That's why he didn't freak out.
Now that, if I had Fae in this world, yes. Like, oh my god, you too. He just kind of looks at you as you're like, the cup! And he's like, yeah, the cup, buddy.
Oh, it's like probably something bad in there. Switch it out or something.
It's a,
Switch that out.
it's a lot of cups in there. You see, you can tell that you're kind of getting nowhere as he's just kind of confused that he walked out this now talking dog. And he's just like, I'm just at work, dude. This is above my pay grade. You're like talking to the Burgerama, like, drive-through guy about something, and he's like, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
Getting nowhere.
But he's not stopping you. Like he told you, he's like, you just gotta be good.
Hold on, sir, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah, he's just like, sir, this is a Wendy's? I don't, what? But he doesn't know your gender because you're a dog, so that's why he just keeps saying, like, buddy, dude, things like that. He's like, broski?
Buddy old pal.
So yeah, you are obviously getting nowhere, and we'll have to essentially forget this guy.
Right. I'm also trying to decide if I turn into a different dog because my cover's been blown.
Got it. Well, in that moment, then I'm going to cut back to the central room with Spider Op.
Oh no!
It's about this time, watching through the window, that you hear another raucous, roiling laughter from Raph the Pale.
as you glance inside, you can see this kind of young, blonde-haired, haughty-faced individual that is wearing rather fine, red-trimmed kind of flockery to everything, and appears to be sitting at a dragon chess table. And even though, well, I should say has a set on the table here, because this room is not at all set up for this sort of thing. This seems to be a quiet kind of reflecting area to view the garden at night, where there's this beautiful atmosphere up here, and you can kind of see at the other table where it's more like drunken canoodling people. And then there's this haughty fucking knight challenging people to chess. And he's laughing as he has checkmated this individual, and you watch as he kind of extends this finely manicured hand out to the individual, and he takes his sword off his side and hands it to him, and you watch as he tosses it to kind of the corner of this little room, where next to him he has this small pile of short swords that is kind of growing as he's going here.
Brenna, are you any good at chess?
No, never have been.
Albrad, you any good at chess?
I mean, I used to play a bit.
You want to come to the main hall and play chess against this pompous little asshole knight? I would, but the chess pieces are a little too heavy for me to move.
I'm sure he'd do totally fine with a spider trying to play chess with him.
Just 1 second, I'm trying to move the pawn. Okay, there it goes.
I suppose I can try.
I mean, I could ask Gookraut also, but he doesn't seem like the chess. He'd probably be playing checkers while the other guy's playing chess, if you know what I mean.
Right, and we
Awful
can't really have
judgmental.
the Pomeranian talking into a stone.
I mean, the Pomeranian playing chess would be interesting, but still slightly better than the spider playing chess.
I will head over.
After that, Spider is watching. I will move Spider 2 closer to have another set of eyes. My little Spider 2 is going to be climbing along the ceiling.
You know what? Just because of the situation in the moment and how much reporting has been going on back and forth, Britta, roll me an insight.
Not very insightful. 14.
Yeah, it's not a bad roll, though. With the little bit of kind of talk and guidance that you've had in this moment, you feel like maybe this guy isn't something that's going to need as strong of a watch for the rest of the night. And you kind of feel like if there was a place that Leaf was just gonna put up his guard spider or whatever the fuck it is, maybe this would work, because you don't think he's gonna need a whole lot more.
Okay,
All
fine.
right.
I'll watch those.
Yeah, if you leave your familiar in here, I could probably go somewhere else and check on other things.
Not a problem. I'll just be here doing spider things. Make it a home. We'll get destroyed by horrible humans later.
Figured that would help kind of take care of things, because to be entirely honest, there were some things that were going to require way more input and some things that weren't going to require a whole lot of input. But that's where time-sensitive things have begun into play, and now since there's been so much report, they're starting to get into play. So now, you know, these are the moments of going, shit, maybe I don't need to stay here. So I'm assuming all of those parts are taking place in a relatively quick period of time as everything's moving through. So, cutting back to the main room as Halbarad is then moving towards the garden viewing room with Wrath the Pale, Ukrad was left to see the Pomeranian be carried outside of the room after his conversation, after watching it suddenly jump on the table and try and jump around, and you're left kind of confused because you were just having a conversation about needing to leave the room and not being able to leave the Pomeranian here, and then they just caused a giant ruckus and got carried out.
This is bullshit.
Roll me perception.
Fuck me.
Distraught, the elven maiden seems to be sitting down, fanning herself, while the gentleman that has been attending her seems to be trying to look over her, very concerned with everything. Are you okay? Is there anything that I should get you? I understand it has been a little exciting. Do you need something to drink? Well, I imagine it would help. He reaches, searching for something. You see him grab a cup from the table. And he reaches over and hands it from her. And she gingerly takes a sip and holds a hand up to her forehead. I imagine it's been a very exciting evening. I do apologize. I don't mean to cause a fuss. Too much excitement for me. I understand. I do get lightheaded sometimes. It seems that he is being very attentive to her and trying to take care of her needs in that moment. What are you doing?
Me?
Yeah. Like, all this is going on. You've just been given a bunch of information.
Yeah, but I got distracted because Liz was talking to me.
I know. I get it. And that's why I'm just taking the moment to let you compose a thought and consider with getting the report about the father and then seeing the Pomeranian jumping up on the bed on the table and getting all of this attention and then being carted out, and now you're seeing these people kind of this guy almost doting on her, trying to take care of her as she's standing there, or she's sitting there and kind of catching her breath being a little shaken by this situation, talking about getting lightheaded all the time. What do you do?
I don't know. I really want to beat the shit out of that guy. Because that's a very Ukrad thing to do. I'm trying to be good.
I mean, it is totally okay if in that moment you're still like, man, I'm gonna go back and storm into the room with the rest of my people and be like, you need to send somebody else in there. Like, that's fine. You can do that.
But what if the good thing is beating the shit out of him?
I mean, he's still elven nobility in the city, and you're gonna kind of have to deal with the consequences of assaulting him in the middle of a ball. It's a thing. It's definitely not something with high social view.
No.
I mean, I don't really say no to things to people. I just let them know that there are consequences to actions.
It's probably not advised.
It's not a no. It's a however.
Yeah. That's a good way of saying it.
So you're saying there's a chance?
So yeah, that's what I mean. Like, you can storm out of the room and tell them they need to send somebody else in there, like, in this moment, if that seems like what would be the most fitting thing, because everything in your character is telling you, I want to fucking sock this guy. I can't fucking punch him. So you're like, I
think that's what I'm gonna do.
The crowd come to small dining room, and second spider can take your place.
Because honestly, like, just to kind of
Growl
point it
into my
out.
rock.
Well, I mean, how it's actually laid out is when you walk out of this room, you literally are right across the hallway, and you would walk right into this room, and everybody is
there's a lot of people
right
in here.
there. Yeah, there's a lot of people in that room. I told you, that's the main ballroom.
I am just a tiny spider on the wall.
You're like, oh, fuck me, that's way more than I thought.
Somebody
Don't worry,
needs to get me
familiar.
out of here before I stab this motherfucker.
Or familiar, I'll give you some good mosquitoes and flies later as a reward.
Okay. You win this time. The lady that just got the vapors from the dog jumping around didn't spot the giant spider walk into the room.
I am tiny.
She would actually fucking pass out.
Like, for her, I mean, for a normal person, you are still a huge fucking spider. You know, you are not an actual fantasy huge fucking spider, but to the average person, you're still a huge fucking spider.
Australian spider, at least.
That's what you're like.
Yeah, that's
I
a
said,
huge fucking spider.
like you're like tarantula size. Like, there is definitely bigger than you in reality, even in the real world. But to a normal person, seeing you just stroll into the fucking room.
Don't worry, guys. I'm just here for the insect buffet. Doesn't seem to be a long line for it. Carry on.
So that's what I mean. I just rolled terribly for those two individuals to see the spider walking into this room, which is unfortunate for hijinks purposes. But this is also have been enough time for that Pomeranian to thought about their actions. See, that's why I cut around some. Gives you time to think.
Yes, I mean, technically nobody in the main room saw the Pomeranian talking, but also the Pomeranian is labeled bad dog, so I might as well become a different dog.
Yes.
I'm
It would
thinking,
take
like,
another wild shape in that situation, but yes.
that's true.
Not that
how long
you're
is the
really
fight?
doing anything with them. They last like in this version, do they have an end, or is it like
It says an hour, but I don't know if it scales when you level.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even now an hour is okay. So.
Okay.
In the 2014 rules, it was half your druid level rounded down. I don't know if they changed that.
So it would, for my level, it'd still be an hour, but I don't remember if at higher levels you can be at longer.
Eh.
I used to anyway.
We'll
But
figure
for
it
now,
out. Yeah.
I've been a dog for a little while, so I would maybe have to change again anyway.
I mean, it would maybe be getting towards the end of an hour at this point with everything that's been happening with the back and forth and whatnot here. But it wouldn't quite be the end of it. But yeah, you would if you wanted to stay that way.
I think I'll maybe become like one of those tricolor little corgis.
Okay.
Different dog.
Totally
Completely
different dog.
And then I head back in.
So
let the dogs in.
right. So I will say that it is about this point that the spider and Pomeranian kind of begin to enter into the room. I'm going to assume you're going to try and be a little stealthy initially running in.
Hmm.
I think I'm gonna head in that room too, just so that there's an actual physical being.
Not just a bunch of animals. It's the druid scouting party.
The ferocious spider and the cute dog.
Totally effective. You're like, I guess maybe there should be a person in this room.
You know, someone that can talk without rousing suspicion.
I can talk without rising suspicion. Oh wait, it's the familiars. Never mind. They're talking.
So you rush kind of into this room, and Bo, roll me a perception check then.
Rolling like dog shit.
I mean, you rolled really well there for a while. You just hit the end of your streak now.
The corgi is rolling dog shit. I mean, that's gonna get you kicked out of the room also.
Just remember, for every terrible roll that you have tonight, somebody else is having a great one.
You know, I had terrible rolls
That's great.
all
It's not
last
helping
night.
us.
I actually was playing 2 characters last night with somebody out, and my character rolled terribly, and then their character killed everything. All right, so then first off, their Bo, high or low?
Low.
You guys are doing great with those tonight. So... Dang. Okay. So far. You cannot spot the cup that you saw. The table, as you had seen it, almost seems to have been completely reset in that time. Fresh tablecloth, new place settings, everything. These goddamn servants are on top of it. But you see that she does look woozy.
close enough to do a smell check.
Okay. You're gonna sniff around the table?
Yes.
Let's see.
Is that perception or?
Yes, with advantage. You begin sniffing around the table, and at first you can't quite smell it at all. And then it seems to take you to the one in her hand.
Uh, Man, I can't go bad dog again.
If only there was a human.
I'm gonna run over to Brenna.
What is it, girl? Timmy fell down the well. Who's Timmy? Where the fuck is the well?
Oh, fuck. I really did
So,
not
like-
expect this to go quite as hijinks as this went.
Like I said, you underestimate our stupidity.
You mean creativity?
Potato, potato, you know?
Potato, tomato. Same thing, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna Lassie style try to be like over here and try to get you to interrupt this situation.
Roll me insight, Brenna.
Here we go.
I believe in you.
7.
You're really doing so good with all this. I want to believe in you.
Well, that's your fault. I will pull out a small copper wire and sort of point down towards the now tricolored corgi and whisper, seems like something's wrong. Perhaps this will make it easier for you to tell me in your mind.
Is this something you can respond to mentally?
I think you have to speak the words, but you can kind of whisper,
Yeah, you
which
can
would
whisper
make it easier for you to talk.
I'm just gonna be like, shit, Brenna! You gotta stop that hot chick from drinking that thing! It's all like, very bad! Go!
Well, you think there's only one person that she could be talking about in the room. Give me a perception. Yeah, it's either the young elf or the muscle mommy blacksmith in the back, and you're pretty sure she's talking about the young elf.
Alright, well, I'm gonna head over to the young elf then and try to take her cup and replace it with fresh water.
She
stares at you kind of doe-eyed and confused as you roughly take this cup from her and hand her a glass of water.
I wouldn't take it roughly. I would like.
No, I understand that. It's more of the cold nature of it, you know. It's just you're doing it matter-of-factly, like, I need to do a thing, and she is used to servants. So
beg your pardon, miss, but perhaps a lie down is in order.
I think maybe you're right. And she stands up.
Can I escort you to your room?
I have a carriage, but I'm not sure. And she faints.
Well, perhaps. I'm immediately screaming, "Help!"
The moment you scream help, the room erupts in a panic as everybody immediately begins moving. The front table immediately is in an uproar of motion as both the mayor and the father begin rushing over at the table, both with questions and screaming accusations. You watch as Juvrik grabs this, well, mysterious at this point because you don't know his name, gentleman by the front of his armor and tries to heft him off of his daughter and throw him to the side, but he's not quite able to grab hold of him. And you watch as this tussle begins to assume as bodyguards and servants begin to move in to try to separate people. And all through it, you're left holding this delicate elf girl. And that's where we'll end the session.
Can I try to pull her out in the hallway?
Sure. We'll end with you pulling her out into the hallway in the middle of all of that.
Yeah, I know it's half speed because I'm weak as fuck.
It would be hilarious if we were like a little higher level and you just dimension door with her.
Deuces.
Everyone's screaming and just poof.
See ya all later.
So yeah, we'll come back in 2 weeks to Halbarad playing chess as an almost fight breaks out in the main hallway. And yeah,
We did it, guys. We started the fight. That's what we were supposed to do, right? That was the goal.
The best part is there actually is a Discord activity where you play chess.
Oh, well.
So instead of rolls, we can do an actual chess game to see who wins.
Yeah, why don't
That'd be
everybody...
funny.
The entire session is just us playing chess, yeah.
Do I still have the cup that she drank from?
If you wanted to keep it in that moment, I'll say yes.
You're not getting out of this campaign that easily.
I don't know if I would have put it down.
No, I understand. Like, since you took it from her in that moment, it was a pretty quick kind of exchange back and forth there. So, kind of as we're saying, and given you're a rogue, you could have very easily have kind of kept that along the journey.
Well, let's say I did that.
Okay. For later discoveries and things to figure out.
Yeah, so now I have a passed out elf maiden that started a fight when she fainted, and a cup full of poison because I'm smart.
I would like
Sure, that's totally fine. It doesn't look terrible.
Sounds like a self-report
This
to me.
doesn't look horrible at all.
I would like to point out that the spiders are not responsible for any of this.
Yeah, because I would like to point out that you definitely don't have a party member that walks around talking about drugging people constantly.
See, mushrooms. That doesn't sound like mushrooms.
Well, maybe to you, but to these people that only survive on rumors and gossip.
But I only give mushrooms to party members. No one else gets to try the special mushrooms.
Oh, yes, but you've lived in this area for a long time, and these are long-lived people that really love the gossip.
You think these hoity-toity assholes I'd share my mushrooms with? Fuck that.
No, that's just it. No, none of them have ever had any of that. But they've heard rumors.
Yeah, fuck them. They're not good enough for my mushrooms. Clearly innocent.